Hello students, this is Miss Medina and we're going to talk about subtracting polynomials. And this is one topic that always gets a handful of my students, so please make sure that you're paying attention. And I also gave you an assignment on this where all you're doing is distributing that negative sign in hopes that you will remember to always change the sign. All right, so subtracting is very similar to adding them, but we have to take care of the minus sign first. Move something out of the way so I can grab the highlighter. So we have to take care of the minus sign first. So you have to kind of think in this way. We have to change the signs of the terms in the parentheses. In all of these, the negative sign is alone, which is an understood -1. So when you see negative 3x squared plus 5, that literally means -1 times negative 3x squared plus 5. You see? Literally what you're doing is you're distributing, you're multiplying by -1. And what happens when we multiply by -1? Two negatives will become a positive, and that negative times a positive will become a negative, right? So when we're multiplying negative times negative, it's going to become positive. And when we're multiplying a negative times a positive, and it doesn't matter who comes first, commutative property, we're going to get a negative sign. That's why the signs switch. Identify and combine like terms. Okay, so that's step 1, step 2, and then step 3. Add, subtract, it's all the same thing. But what do we need to make sure? We need to make sure that our final answer is in standard form. All right, here we go. Let me zoom in some more. There we go. Whew. All right, so when we look at these sets of parentheses right here, this one and this one, the number in front right here is understood to be a positive 1. So we can ignore those parentheses. But over here, the number in front has to keep that sign. So this is technically a -1, which means we need to distribute that -1 into the parentheses. Okay. All right, so this we can pretty much ignore them since we're going to have to rewrite it anyways. All right. That's what ignoring means. You don't bring them with you. All right, but now we multiply -1 times -3x squared. Negative times negative is going to become positive. I almost feel like this is confusing here, so I'm going to put the 1 right here. All right, so this becomes -1 times -3. Negative times negative will become, and then the -1 times the positive 4x. Negative times positive becomes, and then the -1 times the -7. Negative times negative becomes positive. And this is why they say the signs switch. Are we clear? Because look, this negative became positive. This positive became negative. And this negative became positive. Y'all see? But it's really because we're multiplying. So don't think that that was just by magic. Capiche? I don't know why I erase when I can just do Control-Z. All right, and then the most important part was this. All right, now that you've gotten rid of the parentheses or ignored the parentheses as needed, now we combine like terms. And I always like to find the term with the highest degree first. So the x squares. All right, so what's our little brain? That's 7. It's a positive 7, right? So our little brains are going +7, +3, +10. So this is 10x squared. All right, done. Then we look at the linear terms. And what's our brain thinking? -2, -4, we get -6. So this is -6x, right? So we're done with those. And now lastly, the constants. 1 and 7, no, it's just going to be +8. And it's already in standard form. How do you know that, Miss Medina? Because look, 10x squared, x is the variable, degree 2. -6x, x is the variable, so that means it's degree 1, and this is a constant, degree 0. See, highest degree to lowest degree. All right, focusing on that negative sign. This one is positive, so we're just going to ignore. But this one is negative, right? So remember, it's a -1, so we need to multiply these numbers inside by -1. And before you get confused, all you have to do is change the signs. The signs inside of the parentheses. Inside of the parentheses. What's the sign of the 4 inside of the parentheses? Inside of the parentheses, the 4 is positive, so it's going to become, inside the parentheses is a +7x, so it's -7x. Inside the parentheses is -1, so +1. Or you can just multiply by -1, and the same thing happens. All right, like I told you, I like to start with the highest degree, so I take a look. Of course, I already scanned it. I'm like, oh, these are like terms and they have a high exponent, right? So what's my brain thinking? That 3, what's that, +3? It's a +3. So +3 minus 4, that should be a -1. So this is negative. Okay, we're not going to write -1x squared, okay, because we're algebra students now, okay? And the -1 is understood, so this is just -x squared. Clear? -x squared. Okay, done with the green ones. Now, those are like terms. And so what's our brain thinking? Our brain is thinking a +5 and a -7. It's -2. So that's a -2x. We're done. And I guess just a little +1 there at the end. Now let's focus on, is this in standard form? Remember, in standard form, we're looking at the degree. -x squared. X is the variable, 2 is the exponent, so this is degree 2. -2x, x is the variable, and the exponent is 1. 1 is a constant, so the degree is 0. And it's already in decreasing degree, so we're good for standard form. We might as well do this one first, okay? Once again, when I look at this, it looks really, really scary, but focus on this set of parentheses. You see how over here is an understood 1, so that means we can pretty much ignore these parentheses, right? So 3, please don't get lazy and make sure you always do your work to learn how to avoid mistakes. All right, but over here, we have a minus sign, so that means we'll have to distribute this negative sign. All right, so you can think of it as multiplying by -1 or just changing the signs inside of the parentheses. I cannot explain this enough. Looking inside of the parentheses, right? Look at the x, right here. Focused. What's the sign on that x? It's a negative sign, right? So that means it's going to become positive. Or negative times negative, positive. Look inside the parentheses. Plus 2x squared. So that'll change to -2x squared, and this will be +4. Or just multiply negative times negative, positive. Negative times positive, negative, negative times negative, positive. All right, I take a quick scan. 3 minus 5x plus 3x squared plus x minus 2. These are the highest exponents, right? So now I look at the coefficients and I see a +3 and a -2. And so my brain is thinking +1. All right, and so we don't write 1x squared. We're big kids, so we're just going to write x squared. All right, x squared. Okay, done. Now the linear terms. Remember, this is not just 5x, this is a negative 5x. Just like this is a plus 1x. So what's our brain thinking? Look at the coefficients. Negative 5 plus 1. So we're going to get a negative 4. So this is minus 4x. Right, done with those. And then lastly, the constants is 3 and 4. And so we're thinking 3 is positive. So we're thinking positive 3, positive 4. So we get positive 7. And it's already from highest degree to lowest degree. All right, so with this one, same deal here. If you look at your parentheses, right, you'll notice that in front it's an understood positive 1. So we keep everything the way it was inside the parentheses. But when you look at the second set of parentheses, right, we have this minus 1 outside. So that means, all right, when you distribute, everything is going to change signs. So this minus plus 2, minus 3x. Now you look for the term with the highest degree. I only see one of these, right? So that's the first one. Next highest, I guess, will be the linear ones. This one doesn't have x, this. All right, once again, notice that I highlighted the signs, right? That's a negative 4. That's a negative 3. So that's a negative 7. So this is minus 7x. Okay, done. And then lastly, oh, I already used green, so yellow. The two constants, and plus 8 plus 2 are plus 10 mix. And it's already from highest exponent to lowest exponent. All right, so I hope you found this invigorating and easy to follow. And if not, watch it again. Okay, thank you.